Have you ever felt overwhelmed? Yes, you have, so don't even lie. It sucks, no one likes it, and I want to help everyone understand what is underneath overwhelm because it is a symptom. And if you find what is underneath it, you will find the quickest way out of that situation, which is basically back in control. I developed or created this little thing I call grip, which is how to get back control very, very quickly and to know exactly where you are at so that you can navigate this in real time. So every time you are feeling overwhelmed, the system will help you navigate exactly where you are so that you know what's the next logical step. I will share that with you. And then after that, we will get into more long term preventative strategies. These will be more mindsets and things that will help you really stave off any future overwhelm. Because let's face it, it's not totally unavoidable. We will see and face this again and again throughout our lives. But I think the dynamics of it is very interesting. And if you understand what those universal principles are for why we feel overwhelmed, we can definitely put in things that will minimize its effects in the future. Because the cost of feeling overwhelmed constantly it's quite expensive to your self-esteem and to the general state of your life. So yes, if you're interested, let's get into it. No one wants to feel overwhelmed. The reason for that is when we are overwhelmed, we're feeling frazzled, we're feeling emotionally unstable, we are basically lost. We feel at a loss for words, we don't know what to do. That's really not a fun place to be, not knowing what to do, where you are. And I think that feeling of I'm just ready to give up. Like I'm ready to just get me out of here. The cost of that obviously is you have to go through those sorts of things a lot in your life if you want to progress to another level. If you want to achieve something, you're going to have to get through that uncomfortable place. Also, when you're feeling overwhelmed, a lot of people get really angry. The cost of that is obviously the demolition that you are causing around you, especially in the relationships. Your relationships. I mean, these could be working relationships, people that you don't want to burn the bridge, but it's sort of like collateral damage, I would say. So that could be another cost of it. And just the general stress, I would say, the anxiety of feeling overwhelmed, it's quite damaging to your health. And I think if you're feeling that a lot, then there definitely is something that you need to go and look at. Because what we really want to do is feel in control. We want to get past the overwhelming feelings and we want to get to a place where we feel the opposite of all of that stuff. We want to feel in control. And when we feel in control, we feel like we know what to do. We know what's the next step. So we tend to make better decisions. And we get to waste less of our own energy and time because you can be more clear on what it is that you need to do. You can have a better strategy of how to do that while saving face and not ruining relationships around you or doing things that you're just generally going to regret. I think this is a major skill that if you can get a handle on it, get a grip, then it is just it's going to benefit you in more ways than one because let's face it, this is very universal. You can apply this to a lot of different situations. So this system that I've created is based on those universal things, and the system is to help you figure out where the problem that you are currently dealing with, where it is on that scale. And so, based on where it is on that scale, it'll help you figure out what is the next move. The G in GRIP stands for goal clarity. You need to get clear first on what your goal is. What is making you overwhelmed is there's a preferred outcome and there's a current situation, and the two are not congruent. So you need to figure out what is the goal. The R in grip stands for real control. Now, you could know what the goal is, but the goal could be something that isn't within your control. If it is something that is realistic, it's something that you can technically achieve, and it is within your control, then you can tick off the R. If you then go to the next one, which is I, this is implementation. This has to do with the fact that you might be feeling overwhelmed because you already know what the goal is, and or it is in your control. But the I is you just don't have a plan for how to implement this. You don't have a strategy. You're just lacking a plan and a strategy. So this could be a very, very simple solution to a problem that feels very overwhelming. You just need to get clear on the steps. Then the P in grip stands for preparedness. This is so after you've gone through G, R, and I, and you're like, I have a goal, I have control over the goal, it is realistic, I have a plan, but I'm still overwhelmed, then the preparedness is where your problem lies. And the preparedness is just a skills and experience problem. This happens a lot to a lot of people, and they don't realize that that is the issue. So how much of overwhelm would you say is preventative? And how much of it is something that is completely unavoidable? I'm going to say that 80% of situations that are causing you overwhelm, 80% is reoccurring. Which means if we look at the Pareto principle, which is basically the minority of things that are causing majority of the problem, then that's exactly it applies to this problem exactly. It's specifically because if you can identify what are those few things that really contribute to the majority of your overwhelm, then you can create systems around those things specifically. A general mindset that I believe is a great way to stave off future overwhelm and to look at it as a sort of how can I say it? Is a preventative measure, is the idea of essentialism. Now, I'm obsessed with this concept. I can speak about it for hours, I think, so I'm not going to do that right now. But right after I read the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown, everything in this book just spoke to me. It was like, it's raining. Everything in this book spoke to me, and it was all about simplifying everything in your life. And it's a mindset. It's really a mindset that you have about your life, how you look at everything, realizing that you cannot do everything. Why would you want to do everything? Decide what is really important. Simplify everything so that you can free up valuable time, because money is a renewable resource if you haven't realized that, but time isn't. You only have so much time with your kids. They're only little for so long. You'll never have it again. You'll never, your child is small for such a short period of time. Why would you want to waste that time? It just really, you can probably see, I'm very passionate about the idea, but I think that having that idea about essentialism, I'll probably have to make a video about this. But go look into the book, go read the book, because it's amazing. I don't think I've ever made so many highlights in a book as this one. But it's becoming an essentialist. Looking at everything in your life, the big things, the small things, and everything in between, and really applying that. Because when you have everything simplified, you're not dealing with stuff that is not leading you to the win. They're unnecessary to begin with. So why not just scrap them? Like, let's not kid ourselves anymore with all this nonsense. Like, it is going to be overwhelming. Like I said, you can only handle so much chaos in your life. Okay, number 2. This is a very, very life-changing, the most simple but life-changing thing I've ever started doing. And I've been doing it probably for 3 years now. And it's basically just a brain dump. When I started doing it, it was morning pages because I did the artist way, and I've made a lot of videos about the crazy benefits about that because it was like creative recovery and all of that. Um, I'll put a link to that video about morning pages up here. But what it just is when you're feeling overwhelmed, and I do this every single time I'm feeling just slightly frazzled, I take my book that I write my morning pages in, and I just start writing everything that I'm thinking, feeling, things that are annoying me, things that I'm excited about, things I'm worried about, things I have to do, if like buy washing powder, nonsense, anything that's on my mind. I literally just tame the chaos that's up here. I just put it all on a page, and it immediately makes me feel better. It's the quickest. It's like drinking a headache tablet. It's very, very, it's a quick result, and it works every time. And once I've written all of that, I'm just clear on what I really just need to focus on. It's always like, now I can make those 3 priorities. What are the 3 things that I just need to get done today? Because I'm not going to get everything done today. But if I know, okay, the plan is this, today I'm going to work on that, the next week I'm going to work on that, and in the next month I'm only going to tackle this project, I already feel a million times better, because feeling like I'm just never going to get around to that project freaks me out, and it makes me feel like I'll just be a failure forever. I'll just never, get anything right in my life. It's not a feeling that I need to carry into every day of my life with me. So that brain dump is amazing. You can try it at any time of the day. It doesn't have to be just in the morning. You can literally just write whatever, and you'll see you will start feeling better, especially if you're having like an emotional overload situation. It's amazing what you can find is underlying that overwhelm, things that you're not even necessarily very aware of in that moment, but it's a feeling that's hiding underneath. Okay, the next strategy I have for you to stave off and prevent overwhelm in the future is to address this sort of. So we've gone through grip, right? And we've gone through getting clear on the goal, having control on the goal, implementing a plan, being prepared. But if you've gone through all of those things and you still find yourself just generally overwhelmed and anxiety ridden, the chances are very good that your nervous system is just burnt out. Your adrenal glands are fried, so you're not dealing with any type of stress very well. We are all we are all capable of handling like tiny bits of stress here and there. A little bit of a challenge here, a little bit of stress, but we are not built for constant stress, because when you are in a stress situation, you are in a fight or flight situation. The cortisol is, bubbling away. It wreaks havoc on your hormones, and it literally burns you out. So self-care is something that none of us do, I think. I don't think anyone really does self-care. But the cost of not doing it is so great that you need to take it seriously. So when I say self-care, it's really finding what is that thing that's going to give you back some energy. Having fun. And I learned this in the Artist Way course with the creative recovery stuff. It's immensely powerful to do something like have a date with yourself every week, have a scheduled something with yourself every week that that you plan for, that you say, I'm going to do this for myself this week. I'm just going to have a long bubble bath and have some candles and listen to some music, even if it's 30 minutes. I mean, I know that you don't, especially if you're a parent, you don't have a lot of time. And I'm at home with my child 24/7, so I know that there's very few moments that you really have for yourself. But if I don't do things for myself, I am I am doing my child a great misservice, a disservice. I'm doing myself a disservice. I'm literally guaranteeing that I'm going to have a breakdown and a meltdown. I think it's a guarantee. Another component of self-care that obviously goes beyond the bubble bath idea is that You have to set proper boundaries and understand what healthy boundaries look like for yourself. Because if you fail to understand this, you will be a source of energy for everyone else and you will have nothing left for yourself. This idea alone, I think, will prevent so much overwhelm in the future, because this has been such a game changer for me in life. I mean, I had the worst boundaries in the world. Like, I literally didn't even know what the word boundary meant. I was clueless completely. But when I started learning about what is healthy boundaries, what does it feel like to have healthy boundaries, my life literally went from what I feel was a constant chaos, drama that other people were bringing. Other people were bringing it to my door and being like, knock, knock, here's some drama. And I kept thinking, like, well, why do I know people who are just so dramatic and just love drama? Because I hate it. I cannot stand it. But why am I always surrounded with people that are just, bringing their drama to my door? And now that I have very healthy, stable boundaries, I realize that there are people like that everywhere. It had nothing to do with being surrounded. I wasn't specifically surrounded by more dramatic people than everyone else, but I now know how to navigate it better, and I immediately shut those things down, and I don't even blink about it. I don't even feel an ounce of bad, because you know what? No one has the right to demand of you something that you're not willing to do. No one has the right to do that. No one has the right to take your time. It's your time. No one has the right to it. It is your right to decide when and to who to give it. I could go on and on about that for long, but I'm not going to, because I have boundaries. Okay, the next one is systems thinking. Systems thinking sounds robotic and boring, but it's amazing and life-altering and freeing. It's almost like a game. I see it as a game. Whenever there's anything in my life that's like, oh, I do have to do this again. And every time I have to do this, I have to make a list. And whenever I get to that point, I'm like, oh, you don't have a system, you silly woman. Just sit down and come up with a system. And if you don't have a good idea about a system, go and copy someone else's system, because there's many people that have amazing systems. They're not all one person. Do you know what I mean? There are people who have amazing systems when it comes to productivity. There are people who have amazing systems when it comes to cleaning your house, which is why that's exactly what I did. So I was constantly having this issue with my house that I felt was like, it was either tidy but it wasn't clean, or it was clean but it was untidy, or it was, it was always something. It was just never right. And then I thought, well, let me go and research, are there systems like, and yes, there's millions of systems, but the thing is, you've got to craft something that works for you. But I borrowed from a lot of people things that made sense to me, and then I started playing around with things, and I finally found something that really works for me. And the moment I stop with the daily implementation, that's the minimum thing that I have to do each day, I can slowly see my house turning into like a chaotic war zone. And it's very simple things. For example, I have to, every night before I go to sleep, I have to turn the dishwasher on, so that by the next morning I can just unload it. If I don't do that, just that one little thing, I feel like my entire world collapses the next day, because now the dishwasher is full of dirty stuff. Now it's going to take me 3 hours to wash that, and now I've got a dirty dish. What to do now? Now I start stacking it in the sink. I mean, this is just a disaster zone waiting to happen. If I don't do a load of laundry every single day, it's tickets. I might bring the torch and set this place alight, because it will be unmanageable. It will be unmanageable chaos. And no one will have anything to wear. So we won't be able to go anywhere. So, there's that. Little things like that. I mean, it sounds very dramatic now, but It's such small things that can have such a dramatic result in your life. That's what systems thinking is about. So I really want to challenge you. Like I said before, go and check out every little thing that's causing you frustration. When you feel frustration in your life, let there be a red flag or a light in your head that goes off that says system, 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 because that's the sign that you don't have a system. You're frustrated about something, and especially if this is the reoccurring thing, fix it once and it's done. I think my child is trying to tell me that he cannot be held in this room for much longer. He's here on his own volition. He doesn't have to be here. He can be wherever he wants to be with you. I will definitely make more videos about the systems thinking and whatever, because these things are so practically applicable in your life that there's no reason why you can't fix something. If we can get under what is causing that thing, then you can fix it. So with nothing less to say about this, let's go and do this. I will link all the resources that I think might help you in this endeavor below. And all the best to you. Go forth and conquer your life and your day and make the most of it. Ciao.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal.